Imagine your girlfriend getting kidnapped by a Batman from Temu while he scares the hell out of you with a water gun. And this is a real story about a guy named Matthew who is so delusional that he actually believes he's Batman. Now the real question is, why does Matthew think he's a Batman? And why did this so-called Batman actually kidnap and terrorize people? You see, Matthew was an immigration lawyer and a really smart guy who graduated from Harvard Law School, but he also had a bunch of mental health issues going on. And then one random morning in 2009, he just snapped. And at around 5 a.m., Matthew breaks into a random woman's house wearing a ski mask. He ties her up, makes her wear blacked-out swimming goggles so she can't see anything, and then forces her to drink a ton of NyQuil to make her feel dazed and zoned out. While she's drugged, he starts wandering around her house collecting her personal information, like he's on some top-secret mission. Then he tells her he's going to assault her, but suddenly decides not to, and instead starts giving her crime prevention advice, telling her how to avoid future break-ins right after committing one himself, and then he just leaves. About a month later, he does it again, breaks into another woman's apartment, ties her up, drugs her, and threatens her. Now the police starts investigating these creepy, bizarre break-ins, and before long, Matthew becomes their main suspect. They show up at his law office for investigation and start asking him questions, and who knows what kind of Harvard law level nonsense he told them. But the thing is, they don't really have enough proof to charge him, so the case just stalls. But for Matthew, that little police visit flips a switch in his brain, and he starts spiraling into full-blown psychosis, convinced that the cops are secretly working with the Chinese government to take him down. He thinks that they've even planted spy gear in his office. By 2011, he gets a new job, but within months he's back in his delusions again, convinced that this office is spying on him too. He quits after just 6 months. A few years later, things got even worse. He moves to a new neighborhood and basically turns into the local creepy uncle, climbing rooftops, peeking through windows, snapping pictures of random women. At this point, he's completely lost his sanity. And once again, in this new neighborhood, he gets a fresh batch of insane ideas, where he starts believing that the world's richest people, the top 1%, are actually demons. I mean, he's not wrong, but what he actually meant was like literally red-eyed, tail-swinging demons hiding in human form. So in 2015, Matthew packs up and moves to a remote cabin in Lake Tahoe, where he completely isolates himself. He barely sleeps and instead watches The Dark Knight and other Batman movies on repeat, like it's his religion. And at some point he decides he's going to become a Batman, or at least the discounted Temu version of Batman. He builds himself a Batman suit out of random junk like wetsuit laser pointers, dog collars, flashlights, and swimming goggles. In his mind, he's now a vigilante hero who's going to fight the evil rich people. And so, as his first mission, he picks his target, a totally normal couple named Denise and Aaron. In his twisted, delusional mind, he thinks they're part of the elite, while, in reality, they're just regular, middle-class people living their simple life. And so one night, Matthew gears up in his homemade batsuit, grabs a water gun, yes, a water gun, and breaks into the couple's house and points the water gun at them like it's a real weapon. And of course, they can't tell it's a plastic gun. So they were terrified. He ties them up, drugs them with NyQuil, and throws Aaron in a closet with blacked-out goggles and noise-cancelling headphones, playing a creepy pre-recorded ransom message, and then kidnaps Denise, locks her in the trunk of their own car before driving off to his cabin in Tahoe. There he holds her captive and assaults her. Meanwhile, back home, Aaron wakes up dizzy and finds a ransom voicemail from Matthew demanding $8,500 for Denise's release, due to which Aaron goes to the police. But Matthew's also out here emailing a newspaper reporter like some kind of wannabe supervillain, saying Denise will be released soon. Shockingly enough, a couple of days later, Matthew actually lets her go and drives her all the way to her hometown Huntington Beach and drops her off there like nothing happened. Denise then tells the police everything. But here's where it gets insane. The police actually don't believe her, and they literally thought that she made it all up. They even go on TV and announce the kidnapping as a hoax, and reporters mocks the couple, and everyone thinks Denise and Aaron faked this crazy movie-style kidnapping for attention and fame. But then the karma hits hard, and a few months later, Matthew, the Batman from Temu, strikes again, breaking into another couple's house in a nearby city. He shines a flashlight in their faces and smacks the husband, and chaos breaks out. The wife manages to grab her phone and call 911, while the husband yelled,
"Honey, get the gun!"
Funny thing is, they didn't even have a gun, but the bluff actually worked, and Matthew panics and runs away. And in his rush to escape, his phone falls out of his pocket. Yup, the Batman dropped his bat phone, and the couple handed it to the police, who trace it straight back to Matthew's Lake Tahoe cabin, and they arrest him there. When they searched his place, they found almost everything, like stolen stuff from old break-ins, the creepy Batman gear, and even Aaron's laptop, which was stolen during Denise's kidnapping. And that's all the proof police needed to realize that Denise was telling the truth all along. Eventually, the couple sues the police department for not believing their statement and wins a $2.5 million settlement. As for Matthew, the Temu Batman finally confesses to the kidnappings and all his crimes and got sentenced to 40 years in prison, where hopefully the only mask he wears now is a prison-issued one.